Welcome back, family. Thank you for tuning in and showing up. I appreciate you. I really do. I first want to say my name is J.W. Campbell. I'm here to give you words of encouragement, hope you can inspire and change your life, and to let you live more than just an existence. Let you live up to your true potential. You know, your potential is infinite, and I want you to know that you're very special. Very, very special, and you deserve to be acknowledged for that. And I'm here to help give you some tools to do these things, okay? To really start standing in your power and become a stronger version of who you are, and hopefully to get you where you know you always meant to be. You know what I mean? Almost like a sign, not a detour sign, what do they call that? A direction, directional sign or whatever. Anyways, but thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, follow, share. You know what's up. Anyways, as always, we are going to read from the prayers and promises for wisdom. And this one is on faithfulness. Huge, right? Faithfulness. You're embodying. You know, you're knowing. You're embodying the act of knowing. You know, faith for me is more than knowing. It's more than believing. It's knowing. You know, faith is having, no matter what goes down or happens in your life, to have faith that everything's going to be okay, or the right decisions will be made, and the best choices will make themselves available to you, right? So, faithfulness. All right, this is from Thessalonians 3:3, out of New King James Version. The Lord is faithful, who will establish you and guard you from the evil one. This from Isaiah 25:2, or 25:1, out of the New International Version. Lord, you are my God. I will exalt you and praise your name. For in perfect faithfulness you have done wonderful things, things planned long ago. You know, and that's beautiful, because I have faith that God planned my life before I took my first breath, right? Before I entered this world. You know, I have faith that he had this huge plan for me. I had to find my way through trial and error, and through training, to get to the point where I can pass on my knowledge to others. You know, hard-earned knowledge. And I have faith that no matter what, things will be okay. You know, that if I keep in the direction, the path, and the purpose God has given me, my Lord and Savior, my Creator, of things of all things seen and unseen, you know, that's heartwarming, man. That's like last night I was laying in bed and I woke up. It was just like the best sleep. It was like I was wrapped in God's just blanket. You know what I mean? Like, it was extraordinary. And you know, I sleep easy at night, knowing that God is protecting me. You know, and my angels are standing on point. You know, and you know, my life's it's a, what do you call it, wonder wall. Remember that song? I don't know, but it's pretty humbling. It's awesome. Anyways, we're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer as well, guys, okay? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever, and ever, and ever. Amen. 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 All right, guys. This is the 6 of 10 installments of the importance of being balanced. You know, like I've said a few times, this is our season, guys, especially for the chosen ones, a season of balance. You know, we really have gotten to a point in our lives where we know what we don't want in our lives, and we're open to all the things that we want and need in our lives, right? You know, by now that you've you know, if you've followed the last 5, you've learned what it's like, and the importance of having a higher power, having the Creator in your life, right? and the importance of really doing away with substances and influences and just addictions that don't serve you, that are not good for your vessel, let alone for your spirit, and for your soul, right? And we've learned how, especially the importance of letting people go, even if it's for a season. It gives you a season to grow, right? Like every plant, when they get to a certain size, they need to be transplanted into a new plant or a new pot. Or matter of fact, I did that today. I went and got me one. Man, it's pretty cool. It's freaking awesome. It's an elephant, man. It's freaking beautiful. I got it at what was it? Ross Dress for Less, man, for like $12. It was freaking awesome. And I transplanted my plant. My cat, man. I don't know something about her. I brought a plant to my house for the first time, right? I needed something from, the earth, something really like, some other than my cat, some living organism in my house that is of nature, right? Of the earth, to keep me grounded a little bit. So I went and got one and I put it up there and I introduced my cat to it. But every time I'd look away, she's over there eating on my plant. She took like a couple of the heads off and everything. And I was like, this isn't going to do. And I finally had to lock my plant away in a cage. And I was like, no, this is not going to work for me. No, not working. So I went and got a really heavy planter and I got some potting soil and I transplanted it because it's growing. I've given it love and it's really responding well to that. So I was like, it's time to transplant it. We need to get something bigger. It's growing. It's my love I'm pouring into it and it's just sprouting. I'm bringing it back from like the death my cat wanted on it, right? I don't know if it's that jealousy maybe or just her natural feline instincts, something new smell in the house. She had to have a taste. I don't know, but it's great. God gives you. That's a beautiful thing. God gives me these chances to nurture things. I had opportunities with my children taken from me, like literally. Taken from me, not being able to see my daughter grow because of other influences and other people, and I'm not going to talk ill of her mother, but it just wasn't conducive. It was the more I was around, the more pushback I had. It was doing more harm than anything, right? And it wasn't that I let her get her way. It's like no, I love my daughter. I love her so much. I want to give her the most beneficial life possible, and I had to sacrifice a relationship. I still feel my daughter. I still feel her. We're connected, and we always will be. And I have to look at that, and I have to look at how I can do today for a betterment of her future, because she can have kids one day, right? I'm gonna have to be there for my grandkids. Yeah, I think like that. I know what I've missed out on, but what can I be present for in the future? And these steps have helped me do that in a beautiful way. So yeah, I had to do a lot of growing up so I can be grown up for, my children down the road when they need a grown up in their life to help raise their child to grow up. You know what I mean? So I learned and I grew, right? Just like a plant. And I have that opportunity to have an animal that I got from a shelter and I was able to raise her, and I got a plant and I'm going to make sure that I raise it the best way possible. See, these are small things, right? But they're big things to me. It'll be big things to you. Other people might be small, and no, it'll be huge, and you'll deserve to have those moments in your life. The more we look back on, the more if we were to look back on what we were missed out on, what was taken from us, and we dwell in that, we'll stay in that. And you don't want to stay in that. No, you want to grow, learn from it, become better. Don't hold resentments. Don't hold baggages. This is all what I'm trying to teach you here. Hold on one second. I got it right here. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys. Really that you can learn, you can grow, and you don't have to be made small by other people. Really stand in your power. And this is a lot of what I'm trying to teach you guys. Even as forms of meditation. To meditate without people even knowing you are. How ninja is that, dude? Beautiful, right? It's everybody's take on, everybody thinks that meditation has to be all cross-legged and Zen, Buddha, and no, it's to slow yourself down. If you've been like me, I was a go-go person my entire life. I was made that way, I was conditioned that way, and when I was meditating, I was walking along, I was slowing myself down because I was looking at my surroundings. First, it was to stay vigilant. Then finally, it was like I was walking with God. I was walking with the universe and walking with just nature as a whole. And these are things that we never get a, not never. I don't like saying never. Oh, look, my cat stuck on my thing. Uh, you learn what you don't want in life, and that's beautiful. I sit here today, I was thinking about, I was on a walk, and, you ever heard that saying, those who can't do, teach, right? And I thought, you know what, the people who look at me for advice or confirmation or just just to learn something from, it's like, I'm not that person. Like, I have literally, I do, so I want to teach. You know what I mean? So I can help others from pitfalls and let them know that their life's not a failure, man. It's just something you had to walk to get to your finish line, And when you get to that finish line, you start another race, And I want to help you, pace yourself in that race. You know what I mean? It's not about the destination; it's about the journey, man. It really is. I know that's, it's not cliche, but it's something that you heard a lot, right? Well, it's true. It's about the journey, getting to learn, getting to evolve and become a better person. Period. We're all capable of change. No matter what age you are, what creed, color, class, don't matter. You can change. And hopefully for the better. So we're gonna move on here, guys. It's gonna be. This is pretty deep here, guys. This is one of the longer ones here. This one is, excuse me, guys. This one is 6 of 10. It's called Might Look Crazy. I'm not going to go into a big narrative about this because it's basically gonna explain almost step by step, play by play here. But just know that if people look at you like you're crazy, and I always say this, just because you can't prove it doesn't mean it's not true. It's just a lot of people who've gotten together to manipulate the situation, create their own narrative, and we're a step ahead. It's like the ultimate cover-up, right? It's like just because you couldn't prove who really killed JFK, he died, right? It's kind of like that. No, honey, I gotta work. I gotta get my cat down. Hold on. I gotta, no, baby, I gotta work. But anyways, we're gonna get into this, guys. So 6 of 10 might look crazy. I assure you all that there will come a time in this journey when you will and must stand for something or fall for everything. See, when you become a solitary being, not by force, but by choice, you begin to be true to yourself. In being true to yourself, you eventually find that you cannot trust anything or anyone besides God. I know people have an issue with God, but I can tell you with a loving heart that God our Father, the one who breathes life into our lungs, truly cares and is our best friend. That is why when you cannot trust anyone and people do not want to understand that just because you cannot see God doesn't mean that he does not exist. And this is what I'm trying to hit home for you in this stage. Okay, imagine being a child and you have an imaginary friend. Then your parents try to get you to grow away from you believing that you have an unseen being that you speak and interact with. Your parents master control over your life by saying you need to grow up, which makes you feel even more unheard, strange, or different when it's actually your parents operating out of a place of insecurities and fear. As you get older or grow up, your parents running on societal standards continue to make you to believe that your imaginary friend never existed, and that helps pass on the narrative to your children, preventing them from having any imagination, or I can call it a direct link to reality beyond the matrix of things. See, that's what I was really trying to hit home with that, guys, is that, okay, your parents grew up with their parents telling them there's no such thing as imaginary friends, right? It's that childlike innocence that you have, right? And you're basically the way that you would call the matrix or the powers that be The way that they control the narrative from a young age is by making you try to dissolve your imagination, right? That is to for you to well, I'll go on in this. It's basically it's a control thing. It's the powers that be try to control you from a very young age, even as far as childhood. You know, and your parents were that was ingrained into them, so they pass it on to you because they're running out of fear, right? They don't know how to come at this. So the only way they know how is to go in their toolbox from their parents, making you say, you know, feel awkward, unheard, and all that. That your imaginary friend isn't important. See, I'm trying to connect the dots here with God being that imaginary friend. You know, just because you can't see him doesn't mean he doesn't exist. See, I'm going to go on a little more because I don't want to ruin this. I don't want to ruin this. This is pretty deep here, guys, okay? See, that God lies in the reality beyond the matrix of things, and those who try to get you to dwarf or even forsake your imagination. Example, what I'm trying to convey to you is almost like cutting the phone cord on a landline in your home. The powers that be, or the entities trying to control the masses, do their best to insult us at as early as childhood. Because if the masses control the narrative with a direct connection to a God, then those invested in the fall of humanity or subjugation depend on controlling us by us freely giving up our power to them. Get where I'm going with this, guys? All the clandestine powers, you know, the ones constantly trying to puppeteer us, do not want us to remember or begin to know in our programming that our creator of all things, seen and unseen, has been there for us the whole time. God doesn't want wants us subjugated by giving our power to anyone, and that is why you shouldn't care what other people think. Society tries to make us feel alienated and pushes a narrative of craziness if you believe in something they cannot see. Control is a big factor because if you have an imagination that is childlike, then the only way they can control you is by trying to control your vessel by manipulating your insecurities via pushing your emotional buttons until you forget or give up. And my friends, you're done giving up. These people run on fear, and it scares them that you have a childlike outlook and an unshakable faith like that of a child that has an imaginary friend. For the child, the friend is very real, and the friend brought happiness to the child. But society hardens our hearts and pushes us to detach from our childlike imagination as a way to control the masses. Trust me, I know how this stage is one of the hardest ones to incorporate, but I assure you it is imperative for your growth. God is my Father, and I'm a child of the Creator, as we all are. We come from a source that is a beautiful thing. God is omnipresent, as in all of us. He hears you when you speak and walks beside you, always willing to listen. So please, if you use your imagination and it makes you feel crazy or look crazy, then you're doing the right thing for yourself. You know, when I was homeless and I started doing what I'm asking you to do, I was for real homeless. A person you see on the street corner talking to himself. So I finally gave up caring about what a complete stranger thought of me, and sure enough, it became a pivotal stepping stone to surrendering my pride. I found myself doing this constantly without worrying at all about what Joe Blow thought of my grammar or speech. The bond I began cultivating grew even more from our universal, living, loving one we all call God. This is a golden nugget of knowledge I am going to pass down to my faithful followers. Pride is a sacrifice worth giving in service for your path, yielding another cornerstone of the foundation of balance. God walked along this journey in lockstep with me and never asked much of me, just do my best when it came time to help others awaken on their path. By sharing these steps and stages, I'm giving back to my Father. I look crazy, and I'm sure there will be others that take what I am, transcribing you, as a new age or even crazy, but crazy illuminates to others what they cannot conceive on their own. I say so, what is believing? excuse me, what if believing in our Creator, by openly talking to Him and acknowledging His existence and working in our lives makes us look crazy in other people's eyes? Best choice I ever made was to sacrifice my pride, because you should never care what other people think. In closing, I will give you a last piece of advice, and that is for you to hold on to caring, for you not to hold on to caring about the world, what the world thinks of you. Then the world will keep you under their thumb and will continue to try to control your life and your narrative. Basically what I'm trying to paint here, guys, and I'll go back over this again a little bit slower because I kind of pushed it on that one, because it's a pretty big one. I haven't done one this big yet. Okay. The greatest way for the Matrix to keep you subjugated and subservient and not to learn what it's like to be free, a free spirit and whatnot, and to believe in what you want to believe in. And the most healthiest thing is God, because He created everything seen and unseen. A lot of people have a misconception of what God is. Okay, people think it's just Jesus. No, Jesus was God incarnate. He died upon a cross so that we could understand that He was willing to die for us. So if we lose someone, we can't blame Him, because He knows how it feels to die. So when someone leaves this world that you care about, God knows how it feels to have that done, because He did for us. See, to have a childlike imagination, it's a reality beyond the Matrix. You must know that. And they try to disconnect that, clip that from you having that. So they want to ingrain that into you as a child by instilling in you awkwardness, insecurities, all of these things, right? They're making you feel all these things at a young age if you believe in that. See, when we're born, we're meant to have that. We're not meant to have the world bear down on us and program us in all these ways. Now, if we weren't ever, I believe this, if we went our entire lives not being exposed to the world, we would continuously have this connection to God. We would continue to be childlike. But we would grow, we would evolve, we'd mature. We would mature. But the world makes us mature quicker. You get what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to mature at age 6. If you want to believe in a friend you can't see at 6, I call that God. Yeah, I'm sorry, I call that God. He is our best friend. God comes in different forms, in different shapes and sizes, right? But your parents, it makes them feel awkward and fearful because they don't have that connection. They probably once did. But see, that's another way for the powers that be to control us, to get us disconnected, because they know. Oh yeah, the 1% knows the power of a child-like imagination can hold. They want to make you feel awkward, disconnected, and insignificant, and insecure, and they feed on that. They push your buttons, and that's why your parents say, "Grow up." All of those things. No, keep a childlike imagination, and that's that direct connection to God. You know what I mean? When you know He's there, and you can talk to Him, and without a shadow of a doubt, He's there for you. That scares them. That scares the powers that be. It scares them, because they can't control you. They can no longer keep you contained and small. You're walking in your power then, because it's like picking up the phone directly to God. Hey, yeah, God, can you do this for me? Can you help me out here? He knows, and He's already on it. So, I'm going to go through this again, guys. All right. Might look crazy. And it's important, guys. You need to stop thinking about what other people think of you. They don't pay your taxes. They don't lay down with you at night. You know what I mean? You don't have to impress anybody. God will give you all the success you ever want. Just stay true and faithful and on point. It scares people. Yeah, it scares people because they've lost that connection. They've lost it. And they can become jealous that they don't have that. And because they can't connect that way anymore, because they're caring about what the world thinks, they want to take you down a peg. They want to make you feel awkward, make you feel ugly and different and all of those things. But when you get past that, you don't care. You'll have that constant connection to God. You'll have that constant connection to the universe. You'll have them on speed dial. I kid you not. And it scares the masses that they can't control you and make you feel small anymore. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. So I assure you all that there will come a time in this journey when you will and must stand for something or fall for everything. See, when you become a solitary being, not by force, but by choice, you begin to be true to yourself. And being true to yourself, you eventually find that you cannot trust anything or anyone besides God. I know people have had issues with God, but I can tell you with a loving heart that our Father, the one who breathes life into us, into our lungs, truly cares and is our best friend. That is why when you cannot trust anyone and people do not want to understand, that is just because you cannot see God doesn't mean he does not exist. And that is why I'm trying to hit this home for you in this stage. Like I said, imagine being a child and you have an imaginary friend. Then your parents try to get you to grow away from you believing you have an unseen being that you speak and interact with. Your parents master control over your life by saying you need to grow up, which makes you feel even more unheard, strange, or different when it's actually your parents operating out of a place of insecurities and fear. As you get older or grow up, your parents running on a societal standard continues to make you believe that your imaginary friend never existed, and that helps to pass on the narrative to your children, preventing them from having an imagination. See how this, right? That's where the cycle comes in. Family curse, a cycle, and you need to break that. I call this a direct link to reality, beyond the matrix of things. Childlike imagination, get it? Now you see where I'm going with this. See, God lies in the reality beyond the matrix of things, and those who try to get you to dwarf or even forsake your imagination. See how, they say, oh God, you forsake, or why you forsake me? You get where I'm going with this, guys? They want you to forsake by dwarfing your childlike imagination, or just an imagination, period. If you have an imagination, that means you can think for yourself. And a lot of people don't like that, right? Example of what I'm trying to convey to you is almost like cutting the phone cord on a landline in your home. Now that you built your home, you got a landline in there, you get where I'm going with that too? The powers that be, or the entities trying to control the masses, do their best to insult us as early as childhood. Because if the masses control the narrative with the direct connection to a God, then those invested in the fall of humanity and our subjugation depends on controlling us by freely giving up our power to them. All of the clandestine powers, the ones constantly trying to puppeteer us, do not want us to remember or begin to know in our programming that our creator of all things, seen and unseen, has been there for us the whole time. God doesn't want us subjugated by giving our power to anyone, and that is why you shouldn't care what people think. Society tries to make you feel alienated and push the narrative of craziness if you believe in something they cannot see. Control is a big factor, because if you have an imagination that is childlike, then the only way they can control you is by trying to control your vessel, by manipulating your insecurities, by also pushing your emotional buttons until you forget or give up, and you, my friend, are done giving up. These people run on fear, and it scares them that you have a childlike outlook and an unshakable faith in that of a child that had an imaginary friend. For the child, the friend is very real, and the friend brought happiness to the children. But society hardens our hearts and pushes us to detach from a childlike imagination as a way to control the masses. Full circle. Trust me, I know how this stage is one of the harder to incorporate, but I assure you it is imperative for your growth. God is my Father, and I am a child of the Creator, as we all are. We come from a source, and that is a beautiful thing. God is omnipresent and is in all of us. He hears you when you speak and walks beside you, always willing to listen. So please, if using your imagination makes you feel and look crazy, then you are doing the right thing for yourself. You know, when I was homeless and started doing what I am asking of you, I was for real the homeless person you see on the street corner talking to himself. So I finally gave up caring about what complete strangers thought of me, and sure enough, it became a pivotal stepping stone to surrendering my pride. I found myself doing this constantly or consistently without worrying at all what Joe Blow thought of my grammar and speech. The bond I began cultivating grew even more from our universal, living, loving one we all call God. This is a golden nugget of knowledge I am passing down to you, my faithful followers. Quote, pride is a sacrifice worthy of giving in service to your path, yielding another cornerstone in the foundation of balance. Unquote. God walked along this journey in lockstep with me and never asked much of me, just to do my best when the time came to help others awaken to their path. By sharing these steps and stages, I am giving back to my Father. I looked crazy, and I am sure there will be others that take what I am transcribing to you as a new age and even crazy. But crazy illuminates to others what they cannot conceive on their own. I say so. What if believing in our Creator, openly talking to Him and acknowledging His existence and working in our lives makes us look crazy in other people's eyes? How's that, right? Like, don't care, right? Best choice I ever made was to sacrifice my pride, because you should never care what other people think. In closing, I will give you a last piece of advice, and that is, if you hold on to caring what the world thinks of you, then the world will keep you under their thumb and will continue to try and control your narrative for the rest of your life. And trust me, you know they have been doing so for far too long. For real. So work on that childlike. You know, you don't have child. When you have that imagination, just know He's there. Just know He's in everything around you, every last thing around you, and He'll hear you. He'll speak to you. If not in voice, He will make Himself in nature. Everything around you. You just have. If you've gone through 1 through 5 and you're on this 6th one, you will notice that He is speaking to you. You will feel Him. He is present in you. He sees through your eyes. He is everywhere. He even works through your worst enemies. Some of the greatest learning experience you'll ever get is from your self-proclaimed opposition. You get what I'm saying? Because your pride and ego won't be no more. You'll learn from them. You'll be like, oh man, I acted like that. Then see how it works like that. But see, when you start working on that imagination, right? When you start working on that, and it's authentic, it's real, it's pure, it's legit, you know, and it becomes, you start coming into balance and with your reality. You know, you have the matrix, but then you have your reality outside of the matrix of things. That's where God lies. God created the matrix. Yeah, God created it for us to learn, right? We learn from it, but He lies outside of that, and that's where you'll have that connection. But see, the matrix and everybody who depends on it to survive, literally, like they find their identity in that. You know what I mean? Or they feel their insecurities come out in that. But when you have that direct connection, it's like you're at home. Remember back in the day, I don't know if you had a phone with the landline directly into the wall, right? That cord, and you twist it while you're talking to somebody. That's your direct connection. They want to clip that at early as a child, telling you to grow up. You know what I mean? Grow up and and then just like bearing down on you all these responsibilities. You're a 6-year-old, you have a 18-year-old responsibility to take care of, and we go through that, and they want us to forget that childlike. But when you awaken and you get on your path and you really fully entrust in the Lord and his way for you, right? You get that childlike imagination comes back, and that is power. That is true power, man. And they're scared of that because they can't control you anymore. Because you have a mind of your own, and that's your reality. It lies outside of the matrix of things. You know what I mean? It's like I always thought this way when I started my awakening. It's like, you know what? Maybe the ones who think I'm crazy are actually the crazy ones, and I'm living in reality. And it got to be that way. There's about 80% of legitimacy in that. There was, yeah. And then I started realizing, man, before the whole Matrix thing came up, it was just like I know the real deal, like the spiritual realm, the veil. I've seen through all that. I've lived, and I've it's become you become imbalanced with that, and you realize there's that. You have your spiritual family, and then you have your blood family, your vessel family, but then you have it's like having your extended family, but that's your family, that's your spiritual family, and it's a beautiful thing, and you won't, unless you're in tune and you're in balance, you won't know they're there, and you don't want to tell people who they are because that puts them in jeopardy, right? It's kind of like, I don't like saying this, but when you have your spiritual family and they're there, it's almost like a cloak and dagger thing, because you have to keep each other safe. Because unfortunately, man, in the spirit realm, think of it like this way: the trickle down effect, right? Everything that happens in the 5D, the spiritual realm, it trickles down, and then when you become aware of the spiritual realm and you're living in that, you want to keep them protected. Right? And that's what I'm doing for you. I want to help keep you protected, and this is giving you armor, dude. This is giving you armor to protect you from that, like, spell where people would get, like, it's kind of like this. People, before they awaken, they get sick all the time, and they're wondering why their life's going bad and all that, because you were getting spiritually attacked in the ethers. You get where I'm going with that? And it was trickling down into your body, and you weren't able to protect yourself because you didn't have the knowledge. And the ones who knew who you were before you knew, were attacking you constantly. And you were getting sick constantly, wanting to keep you small. But when you came awake and you have that imagination, you become a force to be reckoned with. You can fight back. You can prevent. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you armor, man. This is, like I said, I had to go through years to learn this. But and this isn't all. I can't give you all my stuff. I can't. That's not. But I'm giving you like a basic sheet to go with. And I'm telling you, you will realize your life gets better. It will get better. This is like real world, like, application. And it's not a fix all or anything like that. But I got tired of seeing people getting hurt because of stuff they don't even know, but it's happening to them. You know what I mean? It's like a person getting bullied all day long, but they don't see the bully. But they're getting hit everywhere, but there's no... I don't like that. I want you to have at least a protective barrier to you to defend yourself from the bully you can't even see. You get what I'm saying? I had that happening to me for years. I mean, we're talking darn near 6.5, 7 years. I had that happening to me. Actually, since I was a child, but I'm saying, I can really say it got really super dicey. Other people, I don't know, but let's just say my entire life. But I'm going back 6.5 years because that's when I really started getting emotionally hurt the worst. When I started realizing that I know how it feels to hurt, and I don't want other people to feel that at all. I don't, like, hurt you shouldn't be feeling, that you shouldn't have even experienced. You know what I mean? I could say I shouldn't have experienced 90% of the stuff that happened in my life, but you know what? Sure enough, I learned from it, and I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you how to not be that victim. You know what I mean? I tell myself, I will not be a bystander to my own assault. And I don't want you to be a bystander to your own assault. It's not right. That's not. I live within universal laws. I run on universal. I live and love my universal God, the creator of all things seen and unseen. I live within this. I live within the universal laws, and I want you to be able to do that too. I'm telling you, when you do that, you stand upright and just every day of your life, and the universe sees you. When you run within those laws, you stay in those laws, and it becomes a natural everyday occurrence because it's who you are now, and you love that and you're proud of that. You start working with God. You work with the universe. You know how like certain people work with deities and stuff. You know, like all that. I work with God, creator of all things seen and unseen, and that's beautiful, dude. It took me a long time to get to that. You get what I'm saying? And I have ancestors. I have all that. See, when I talk about New Age and all that stuff, I don't care because I'm gonna give people the legitimate armor. Yeah, you can go to church. You can go to church every Sunday, pray and all that. But what happens outside of church? How about that? What happens outside of church? How do you protect yourself outside of church? You know, yeah, Bible, that stuff too, yes. But I'm talking about you can't read a Bible 24 hours a day and in the midst of getting spiritually attacked right then and there, you can't, you get, like this is an armor you can wear to protect yourself through it all. And then you can cultivate your Bible and your warfare, like in rebuttal and stuff. You know what I mean? That's what God called me to do is to protect the masses the best way I can. And this is the best way I can. You know what I mean? Doing his works. Because I know how it is to be hurt, not knowing why. Not knowing why people are doing this to me. But what it comes down to, guys, the spiritual realm. Gang stuff. All that stuff. Spiritual realm. A lot of us, we come from spiritual households. And when we die and reincarnate, we're spread out. And we find each other again in life. But yet, those who have issues from the house you represent that you didn't even know you're representing are attacking you because of that house. So I want to give you that armor until you can get to that house and represent again. You get what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of stuff into my teachings, man. I'm very multidimensional. I believe in many things, but at the root of everything, my hand to God, at the root of everything, there is God in it. God, the creator of all things seen and unseen. I stand on him. I stand with him and for him. And I know Jesus died on the cross and sacrificed himself for us. I know all that. My walk is one of a kind with God. I walk the way God tells me to walk. I'm not going to let other people influence my walk with God. You get what I'm saying? So, and that goes back to like the churches and stuff, you know. That's a way for you to go celebrate your spirituality. You know what I mean? You can go there and be with other people who love God. You know, and then sure they'll try to get you morphed into their way of doing things, but just know that God just wants our heart. That's it. God protects me. My ancestors come from God. You know what I mean? All that stuff. And that's why it's so, how do I put this? God is omnipresent. He works even through our worst enemies, like I explained before, right? God is beautiful. He is loving. And when you walk with him, you co-create with him, and you're in alignment with him, you don't have to worry about what people think of you. If you look crazy, whatnot. They don't pay your taxes. They don't lay down with you at night. They don't dress you. They don't buy you clothes. They don't pay your bills. They don't freaking pay your rent, right? You get what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to worry about them. That's just a way for them to keep you small and feeling insignificant and awkward. Even as far back as childhood, imagination and stuff, right? I saw many things when I was a child. I was born with my third eye open. I was born with my third eye open. I didn't know that until I got older. I was never turned on to any of this. I was left out and made to feel that way and be that way, conditioned that way, because they didn't want me to get into my power. They did their best to try to keep me small and in the matrix rather than my direct connection to God. They wanted to clip my phone cord. They did their best. They tried. They went all in. But when I started standing with God, I made my promise to Him, and He fulfilled His end. He fulfilled His end. I'm fulfilling mine for Him by helping His children, His chosen ones. You know, helping the masses gain this armor that is so essential and so easy to do. It can be hard, but when you do it and you give all that stuff up and realize you never needed it anyways, you become a force to be reckoned with. You live in holy fire. You got it. Like, yeah. It's a beautiful thing, guys. It really is. And I just say this because this has been not just, I learned this last week. No, this has been something I've been cultivating and being for a very long time now. You know, over half a decade. Over half a decade, this is proof in the pudding. All right? This isn't just those who can't do teach. This is one that's done it, learned it, is fluent, and is off to teach. Because I got tired of seeing other people get hurt. You know what I mean? And I'm giving you guys can do with what you will. You guys can take it or not, incorporate it. I suggest it. You know what I mean? It'll keep you safe. It'll keep you on point until you find your way. I guess that's the best way for me. Until you can find your way. You know, and I appreciate everybody stopping by. I know this has been, 47 minutes. Rock on. I'll just thank you for, stopping by, and please like, share, subscribe, all that, follow. I mean, please, it helps many people. Just imagine what you've been through and you hurting. Wouldn't you want somebody else to have the same help? Wouldn't you? Have the same opportunity? You know what I mean? This isn't time for us to be selfish in our lives. This is really a building block to a successful story. We are all miracles, man, because we've been through a lot. And now it's time for us to become balanced. This is our season. This is our season of us, focusing on us and getting ready to help others become balanced. Because it's week after week, month after month, year after year, more people are waking up. And remember how you did and how scary it was? And you didn't know which way to go, who to trust, how to do. You know what I mean? It's like stepping on a spaceship and you don't even have a license to drive yet. And you're expected to pilot the ship. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, guys, I feel so blessed I've been able to help people, and thank you for commenting and joining me on this journey. And I see you and I appreciate you. God bless you. Praise Jesus. And also, guys, we got 3 more days left. 3x3 canvas. All you gotta do is show up to the live, comment. You gotta show up, and I'll let you guys know a day ahead of time when it's gonna happen. And just show up, comment. It'll probably be about a half hour long, but I'm gonna do it. What I'm thinking I'm gonna do it on, guys, is how we're I don't want to jinx it, guys. I don't. Just gonna have to do a lot with how computers have. We allowed computers to ultimately run our lives, and I don't know. There's a lot. I don't want to. There's a twist to it, too, guys. A twist to it. It's not going to be conspiracy theory type stuff. No, I'm going to have backed up information for this, like documented, just dots that weren't connected that I I was privy to be able to connect. So join me in that, guys. It's gonna be pretty awesome. It's gonna be something a little off topic than what I'm used to doing. So it'll be pretty cool, guys. Just thank you for showing up, and I'm gonna try to get back here in another half hour, and I'm gonna do uh, another stage or another step, and you guys can go over that one too. So after guys get done reading this one or watching it, you should be able to watch the next one. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you. God bless. Praise Jesus.